Hello, this is Dave at AFX Search, licensed investigators in Palm Beach, Florida. This video, we're going to talk about investment fraud. A lot of the cases we have are some type of fraud, whether it's corporate fraud, embezzlement, but in many cases it's some type of investment fraud, such as a Ponzi scheme or other type of investment that really isn't in the best interest of the people putting up the money. So in this case, we're going to talk about a Ponzi scheme or typical investment fraud. It's normally initiated by a fraudster promising some higher rate of return than typical to try to attract more investors than they normally would get and get more money than they normally would get. So how do you detect that? Whether you're in an investment or being solicited for one, there's many methods you can use to detect if it's a possible Ponzi scheme. First of all, if you're in an investment and you have some suspicion that it's a Ponzi, ask for a small redemption. Let's say you have $100,000 in the investment, ask for a redemption of $10,000, $15,000, maybe $20,000 to see how that investment company or individual treats that request. If they hard sell you to try to keep it in, if they're scared about taking the money out, or if there's any delay on paying your redemption, it might be an indication of a Ponzi. Ponzi schemes need that money. The principal is the lifeblood of a Ponzi. If they don't have that principal, they can't pay out the returns to new investors to keep that money in. So a redemption is like a death knell. They don't want to have redemption, so even a small one might be a trigger for them to try to get you to keep that money in. If you ask for the whole thing out, it might be something that crashes the whole Ponzi. So asking for a small amount and seeing what their response is will give you an indication. Plus, if it's a genuine investment, you want to take all your money out, that's not going to be a good thing. You may want to offer a legitimate reason why you want that redemption. Maybe you make up a story about a medical bill or a small purchase. You can even let them know that the money will be right back in soon, so not to worry about it. Just to see how they treat it. Is there a delay? Is there a difficulty? Are there excuses why the check's not cut yet? Checks in the mail excuses, that kind of thing. You don't want to spook them, because if it is a Ponzi, you may want to set up a scenario to get your money back and protect your assets. Also, verify the assets on your statement. If you're getting a regular monthly statement on your investments, look at what the assets are listed as. If it's supposed to be real estate, construction equipment, receivables, whatever your asset is supposed to be, make sure they're itemized, make sure they're correct, and then verify them. Verify the titling and vesting. If they're real estate assets, make sure that the properties are vested as they should be in your name or the investment company. If they're local real estate assets, drive by and make sure that they're as described. Make sure that if it's something that's supposed to be in rehab and being fixed up, that that's the case. Do the math on the statements. A lot of times, if it's a Ponzi scheme, the numbers on the financial statements are made up because if there's supposed to be X amount in your account, and the money's not really there, they just have to make up numbers as they go along. Make sure the numbers add up from month to month. The final balance on last month is the new balance on the next month, and that you run the math from top to bottom to see if the numbers add up. Sometimes if the numbers are being created from scratch and they're fictional, math is a lot easier to have mistakes on it. If it's real numbers, the spreadsheet adds it up and it's accurate. So verify the math. Also use what's called Benford's Law. Benford's Law takes all the digits on any statement or any financial instrument, and there's a certain distribution that should be the case. And it's not equal for the number of ones and threes and fives that show up on a statement. There's a distribution of digits that is normal in a natural distribution. If the numbers don't fit that distribution of Benford's Law, it may be a Ponzi scheme, and we can check all that for you. Now, if it is a Ponzi scheme, how do you undo it? If you have money in and you realize it's a Ponzi, how do you get out of it and try to keep your money intact? You probably want to get with an attorney to make sure that you do it the right way. If you just barge in and ask for a complete redemption, it might spook them, and at that point, the money might go south and the whole thing might blow up. So there's ways to maybe get small redemptions, add a little bit of money back, get another redemption to get it out. You have to be careful to not set yourself up for a clawback. If you know it's a Ponzi and there's other victims, there may be no way to get all your money out without triggering a collapse of that instrument where you have to basically just get the percentage that everybody else gets. So there may be ways to get a higher rate of return on getting your principal back without being at risk of being clawed back later. If you get all your money back, the thing crashes the next month, the the bankruptcy trustee may do a clawback of your assets if you got out early, knowing there's a fraudulent Ponzi scheme going on. So if you are unsure about the investment, you may also want to investigate the principals, investigate third parties that got you in. If there was a sales company, a bank, a lender, or an accountant that vouched for this Ponzi scheme, they maybe have some liability for your money. If there are attorneys that drew up the contracts, that drew up the corporate agreements, they may have some third-party liability. That's one of the things we look at when we're investigating a Ponzi. So this is just a quick 5-minute overview. Obviously, investment fraud is a very detailed subject. We want to put this out there. If you are in a scheme that you are curious about it being legitimate, there's ways we can test that to make sure that your money is safe. And if it is a Ponzi scheme, there's red flags that will show up. So if you have questions, you can reach us at our website, afxsearch.com, and we'd be glad to help.